Tesla reported fiscal year 2022 fourth quarter earnings results after the markets closed on Wednesday, January 25th. What I'm going to do here is a brief overview of the critical metrics that came out of the report, and then I'll do a deeper dive in another video. So let's get right into the key figures here. Overall revenue increased by 37% in the fourth quarter to 24.3 billion. Diluted earnings per share of $1.07 increased by 57% from 68 cents in the fourth quarter of 2021. Really impressive earnings per share growth. Automotive gross profit margin of 25.9% was down significantly from the 30.6% year over year the same time last year. This was due to higher raw material costs, commodity costs, logistics, and warranty costs. Of course, if you've been following my channel, I've been highlighting that these are risks for Tesla going forward, that this was going to happen, that the rising inflation is going to hurt Tesla's gross profit margins, and the competition is also making Tesla have to pay higher prices for these same materials because so many other car companies are now buying up these same materials. So with everybody jumping in trying to buy up these materials, the costs are increasing, and so you see the gross profit margin falling. And this is likely going to get worse in the first quarter because Tesla, if you've been following the company, you know that they announced major price cuts both in China and in North America. So they're now selling their cars at lower prices, and at the same time they're facing higher costs of these materials, and that's going to further compress these gross profit margins. Cash flow from operations for Tesla was down by 29% to 3.3 billion. This was mainly due to rising inventory. The inventory measured by days of supply soared to 13 days, up from just 4 days in the same quarter in the last year. So Tesla is getting stuck with more inventory. They're not selling their units as quickly or delivering their units as quickly as they were used to. Again, this is due to, in my opinion, rising competition and waning consumer demand, because now consumers don't have all that stimulus money they had, and inflation is pinching their budgets. Now maybe is not the best time to pay for $50,000, $75,000 for an electric vehicle. Here's one of the most critical things that came out of this earnings report is Tesla reiterating its target for 50% long-term compounded annual growth for deliveries. But it added that it just is expecting 1.8 million units for 2023. That would be an increase from 1.31 million in 2022. In other words, that's only 37.4% growth. That's far below the 50% long-term growth and lower than the 40% growth in 2022. So while it's forecasting 50% growth over the longer term, in 2022 did not achieve that. 2023 does not expect to achieve that, not even close. So as this year progresses, investors are going to continue to pressure Tesla's management, asking it how realistic it is to forecast this 50% long-term compounded annual growth as competition is soaring, as you're now going into your second year of less than 50% annual growth. So this was the big news, in my opinion, that came out of Tesla's fourth quarter earnings report. If you've been following my channel, you know I posted a video saying that the chances of Tesla removing this 50% long-term growth is increasing, right? I highlighted in that video, I said maybe some point in 2023 Tesla removes this target, maybe lowers it to 40%. And if it does lower this target to 40%, you can expect the stock price to fall dramatically. In my forecast, at least 10%, because when I've seen this happen to other companies, when they lower their long-term growth forecasts, that causes a big drop in its stock price. Most recently, you can observe what happened to Twilio when it lowered its long-term annual target. Right, their stock price fell by 20%. I don't know if Tesla's will fall by that much, maybe only 10%, maybe less than that. I don't know, but I know that if they do remove this target, if they do lower this target, that's going to hurt Tesla's stock price. And I don't know how much longer they could keep reiterating this target if they keep posting quarterly results that are far below this target. So analysts are going to continue pressuring it, and even if Tesla itself doesn't reduce that target, analysts are going to come out with their own forecast that's going to say, look, we know Tesla is saying that they're going to do this, but Tesla has a long history of saying something and not doing what it says, or saying that they're going to do something by 2 years time but actually only doing it after 5 years or so, right? So they tend to overpromise and underdeliver, and this might be another case where analysts might front run what management says. So this is something investors need to pay attention to that came out of this quarter, and something that I'm going to be following closely over the next few quarters of Tesla's results. Overall, for the quarter, I would say Tesla had a really good quarter considering the challenges it faced with rising inflation, the supply troubles in China with the COVID lockdowns and all that, and then also the rising competition. So despite all of that, Tesla was able to increase its earnings per share by 57% and increase revenue by 30%. So overall, a really good quarter. It's just, I think, when you're considering the hyped up prospects for Tesla for the longer term, those prospects, those forecasts, those projections need to be lowered. They need to be moderated. But other than that, this is a really incredible company, best in class EV producer, and it's showing that in terms of revenue growth and profitability. Overall, way ahead of its competition in this regard. Alright, so that's all I've got for this video. I'm going to be doing several deeper dives into the figures that came out of Tesla's earnings. This was just my first look into Tesla's Q4 earnings, so stay tuned for deeper analysis going forward. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in those next few videos. I want to thank the Motley Fool for sponsoring this video. Visit fool.com/Parkev for the 10 best stocks to buy now.